Hey, what's going on?
What is going on? I brought a topic today.
You did?
Yes, I did.
Well, first,
I brought a topic.
Well, first, let me just let the listeners know that right now what you're listening to is the band Drop Dollop and the Globules with their single Tetrahedral Configuration, which is from their upcoming album called Cohesion, which is a much anticipated follow-up to their previous album Surface Tension, which is widely considered to be their magnum opus. So check them out.
Do you? I mean, is there a lot of hype about this new album, or is it only?
Well, yeah.
I mean,
like I said,
like
it's the last album was like hailed as like a masterpiece in the genre of electro trip funk, so.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I have to tell you, I'm just don't really know as much about music as you do.
Yeah, I know
I'm so glad that I get to. I'm so glad I get to be exposed to all these new artists.
Yeah,
because of this collaboration.
Well, I'm going to keep them coming because I got so much music to share. At the end, you'll hear another track, totally different from this one.
So I wanted to share with you this very important information I learned today. I did a little research since the last time we talked, and hopefully this is like, as our longtime viewers will know, this is part of our recurring segment where we we talk about an obscure holiday which maybe you don't know about. And so I did a little research for this episode. I did work before we recorded, which is very rare.
That's amazing.
And
yeah,
thank you. I worked really hard on it. So would you like to know what today is Wednesday, January 13th, 2021,
right?
Which still sounds weird to say. But do you want to know what today is?
Yes. What's the holiday today?
Today it's National Rubber Ducky Day.
Really?
National Rubber Ducky Day. Yes, that's right. And this started from Sesame Street. There's the character in Sesame Street. There's Bert and Ernie on Sesame Street, and Ernie has a song about his rubber ducky. Rubber ducky,
yeah.
You're the one. You make bath time so much fun. But anyway, in that episode, he declares the 13th of January as Rubber Ducky Day. And since then, people all over who really like rubber duckies have been celebrating January 13th as Rubber Ducky Day.
Now, I think I actually have the recording of that song somewhere, which I think you gave it to me. You made me like a mix CD once with that song on it.
Right, because you don't have you have no knowledge of like childhood American things.
I have so much knowledge about music as you've I mean, I don't know what you were thinking sending me, a mix CD when I have all of the music in the Anyway.
Oh man, I think we just dated ourselves when we say about sending each other mix CDs.
Yeah, there's
like that's only true. That only happened for like a 3-year window.
Exactly. What's frustrating about it is it's not even as recognizable as a term as a mixtape. I mean, there's no such thing as a mixed CD. You can't say that. It doesn't. That's not even like a colloquialism. Mixed tape. It just went right from mixtape to playlist or something. I don't even know.
Or whatever.
I don't know what the kids are doing.
I'm sure
these
kids
days.
I'm sure they have a word for it. They're like, oh, it's my Bo songs.
There's just,
well,
nowadays it's just, there's just like, I think what is the new generation? Generation Q. No, I don't know.
Z.
Yeah, it's Z, but there might be even a new one now. Every 5 years there's.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Every 5 years, people have kids at 5. I don't know. No, the generation whatever, they probably have like cochlea implants now where there's just music, random songs just streaming constantly from some cloud. There is no such thing as an album anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't know. People are like, "Oh man, that's such a great song on that album." They're like,
"Album."
Yeah.
Who's album?
Album. Anyway, getting back to the point, I want to tell you about Rubber Duckies. I didn't know about this. They first appeared in the 1940s.
That's it?
The first Rubber Duckies.
I'm shocked that it wasn't earlier than that.
Made of rubber. Because if it's not, there were toys, of course, but like rubber as like a thing didn't even start from the 1800s or not before then. So 1940s is when someone came up with the idea of like the iconic rubber duck, which is what we think about it. The yellow, got the orange bill.
Yeah, but didn't they need rubber for the war? I mean, they wasted on rubber duckies?
I assume it's post-war. Post-war.
So this was
World
like,
War II.
like the last.
And post-World War I, too.
The last 40s or something. Last 5, yeah.
I mean, and it's also like post the Revolutionary War. And the War of 1812. Like it's post all of those times.
Have you ever seen Cabin in the Woods? Like this comedy horror movie.
No.
There's a part where the characters are on their way to this, woods or whatever, and they like stop by some like gas station and they meet like this grizzled, like kind of older guy, but like you can't tell how old he is. He's just like older, and he's got I think he's got some injury or something. And he's like, "I got this in the war." And they're like, "Which war?" They're like, "Which war was that?" And he's like, "You know goddamn well which war." And that's it. That's all they say about it. Anyway, side note. So were they yellow? Were the rubber duckies always yellow?
Yes. I mean, before that, there were maybe ducks made of rubber, but they were not rubber duckies because they didn't take on their iconic form until the 1940s.
Yeah. But I wonder,
so now,
when did they become iconic? Or did like Sesame Street actually make them more popular than they were before?
First of all, I think that's definitely true. That Ernie made it a big deal. But I think they were always like popular children's toys, before the cochlear implants.
Yes. Well, soon there's going to be augmented reality where people are just going to see rubber duckies floating in their bathtubs and things through their contact lenses that everybody wears all the time.
Right, and that works for some reason. So that you just reminded me of something. We haven't talked since Christmas, have we?
Right. Yeah, it was around then.
So for Christmas, I got a VR helmet.
You did tell me that.
Oh, and I've been playing a game on it called Beat Saber.
Yeah, I think you told me that too.
And I have to tell you, I just finished my first song in Expert Plus mode.
Oh, that's right. It's like a musical game, right?
It's a musical game. So it's kind of like Guitar Hero with lightsabers.
Yeah, which
is not bad. There's nothing bad about that.
Yeah, I mean, how could that go wrong?
That's right. And I've finally finished my first song in Expert Plus, and I feel so cool while doing it. And then my wife shows me the video, and I look like a moron. But in the moment, it feels so good to like have accomplished this amazing feat.
Yeah.
Of like finishing a song, like getting S rank, the highest rank I've yet achieved in an Expert Plus. It feels great.
Yeah. It's always there's always like a mean reversion to your expectations of anything you've recorded. I'm sure I'll listen back to this podcast and be like, this is terrible. or if I feel like it's going well, the band I was in, we were always talking about like how we play a show and we're like, oh my God, that show was really good. It went really well. And then we listen to the recording. I'm like, oh God, it wasn't that good. Or if it's the other way around, like that was terrible. I'm so embarrassed. And you listen to it and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. And it's always in between the two.
Right.
But I think with VR, you probably just look like a complete jackass. There's no.
No, that's right. That is exactly how it is.
Yeah.
My wife said it's like watching a cat in the corner shadowboxing with itself, like jumping at invisible things.
Yeah, except you can't even upload it as a cat video because it's
it's not cute.
No, it's just embarrassing.
Fat me,
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that's reminded me of when you talked about AR. But anyway, that's it about the rubber ducks.
Okay.
That's all the research I did.
Well,
I have no further research on rubber ducks.
That's great because I probably never would have looked up rubber ducks and where they came from before. And so thank you for that.
And now you've learned it. Now you too can celebrate National Rubber Ducky Day today by taking a bath with your favorite yellow rubber duck.
I will forget about the holiday in less than a week. Sorry.
Thank you.
We should consult with the Mad Hat for our topic, main topic. But first, this podcast was brought to you by pants. Have you ever found the lower half of your body to be uncomfortably cold, even at room temperature? If so, you're not.
I have.
If so, you're not alone. Research suggests that 4 out of 5 Americans suffer from chronic subabdominal chills when in nude or semi-nude situations. Space heaters only go so far, and blankets are impractical and can suffer from portability issues. Well, now there's pants. From the people who brought you the award-winning socks, pants is a portable, dual-appendage garment which fits around the legs and pelvis and provides up to 100% ankle-to-waist coverage, perfect for
I love socks.
Perfect for at-home or on-the-go body heat insulation. No more messing around with throw blankets and safety pins. Pants has a proven 99% success rate of staying secure on the body for up to 48 hours, so you don't have to worry about unexpected depantsing incidents.
Wow.
And pants is opaque, so if you live in an area where public nudity is socially stigmatized or punishable by law, pants has you covered. Pants comes in a variety of sizes, fabrics, and styles, so you can find the perfect pants for you. You pick the pants. There are no upfront fees or commitments. Simply visit iwishtofasthenpantstothelowerhalfofmybody.com and create your free account to get started. Come see why 4 out of 5 Americans continue to choose pants over other legs-draping products. You won't be disappointed. Pants, we've got you covered. Not recommended to be worn over the face or arms. Only use as directed. Pants is not responsible for death or injury as a result of negligence or misuse. Pants is not intended as a substitute for hats or vests. Please check with your local municipality to verify whether the wearing of pants is in compliance with any applicable public decency laws or ordinances. So,
what will they think of next?
I know.
Oh my gosh, I want pants.
It's a wonderful time to be alive.
Oh.
Anyway.
Boy.
You hear that?
Is that the hat?
That's the sound of the hat. Our listeners are going to...
Sorry about that. It is the sound of the hat.
Yes, our listeners are going to...
You didn't drop it, did you?
Well, no. Oh, I'm dropping pieces of paper from it, though. So that our listeners will get to know the sound of the hat. This is a practical sound effect. This is a real paper.
It's our Pavlovian response.
This is a real paper from a real hat. I hope you're salivating listening to the rustling paper.
No, they'll just turn. That's the moment they know to turn the radio off. To close the tab of the browser.
Oh, well then I'll edit it out because.
Oh, it's the Mad Hat. Boop.
Yeah. So
that's right.
Oh my gosh, I don't think we have time for this topic. The topic is what's great about Super Mario Odyssey. Very specific.
Oh my gosh, we should talk about that.
It's funny because why?
Because they just announced another 3D Mario game for the Switch called Bowser's Fury.
Well, I thought that wasn't a new game. It was like a redone thing. They got like extra levels.
But it's like new for me.
Right. I haven't played it.
Yeah.
It was for the Wii U originally, wasn't it?
I don't think that was a real console.
Yeah.
I think that was just a collective hallucination.
Right. So it's funny because this is such a specific topic, and yet it's a more loaded question, I think, than because I could talk for like 5 hours about this.
So the story there is I played the game first.
Yeah.
And I said it was really great. And then you played the game and you said it was really great. The end. That's the story.
That's it. And not only did I play the game, or did we both play the game, we played the whole everything there is to do in the game. Both
That's
of
right.
us.
We got to the 100th%.
Right. We got our 999 moons or whatever that you can
that
get
was so good.
in the game.
It was so good.
Which I had never done that before up to that point in my life. I play like
in a video game.
In a video game. I play through... No, I never finish anything. But
How's the editing on that first episode going, Matt?
Oh yeah. It's we're not gonna. This is gonna be the first episode. We'll skip that one. We'll air it next like in like a year as like a bonus. This was the pilot episode.
Track.
This was the pilot episode that never actually aired. You know,
before they've got it really working yet. Before it's funny. Before it's clever.
Yeah. And depending on how this one sounds to my ears, we'll have 2 of those for our diehard fans. Anyway. What is great about Super Mario Odyssey? I mean, you go first.
You want me to? Oh, so the thing that's really fun about it is it's fun to play. Like to move the character of Mario around the screen is very enjoyable. The way to like wiggle the joystick, the way you push the buttons and the reaction that you see Mario doing, everything about just moving Mario around is really fun already. Just Mario on an empty plane that it stretches, like, or in a room that's completely devoid of other objects. And just getting to have Mario move around the room is extremely fun.
Just that's
kind of amazing. I think that's kind of amazing because it's not like haven't been other games that have characters that move. Right. And so in some sense, this isn't like a novel thing, but it's just done very well. Like the people who have put together the movement mechanics or whatever have done such a good job that it's like really fun to move Mario around. It feels really natural. It feels, even if you don't really know what you're doing, you can make Mario do really cool things that are useful and like what you want him to do in just a few minutes of futzing with the controls.
I want to add that not only is it really well done, but I would argue that it's, I almost want to say in terms of like the precision of the controls and like just controlling the character, it's one of the best games I've ever encountered. Maybe even the best game, or at least the best Mario game. Like I feel like Mario games have always tried to do that, but I don't know if you did anything like this, but after I was so enthused by that game that I went back and I got the Super Mario 3D All Stars. I played Super Mario Galaxy again. I played Super Mario 64, and I guess I fired up a little bit of a couple of the 2D Mario games, but for some reason I wasn't ever that big of a fan of the 2D Mario games. Right. And then I tried Super Mario Sunshine, which I hadn't played, and that game just does not have very good mechanics. But like Super Mario 64, I thought had really fun, good mechanics, and they've just been improving on it since. Like Super Mario Galaxy was like more, like everything was even like quicker and more deft, more precise. Like I said,
exactly deft. I agree with that.
And I thought that game was like amazing at the time, but there's like now. And then I went back after playing those and fired up Super Mario Odyssey again, and was like, my God, this game is like the pinnacle of that. It's just like.
Yeah.
And even even really specific things like the fact that when you do a long jump and you do a second long jump afterwards, there is no delay from the long jump to the next long jump. That's like a really specific thing that makes the fluidity of your constant movement just like perfect.
I find it's not even just like the fast, like the gross motion, if you will, like the big movements, but also like even the little ones. I'm playing a different game right now called which has a terrible title called Immortals Phoenix Rising. And it's a dumb name. And even if you say it in a cool voice, it's still kind of a dumb name. But
I think there's a short list of video games that don't have dumb names, though.
But there should be at least a colon. It should be like Immortals : Phoenix Rising, but it doesn't even have the colon. It's just one. So it's like, where does the anyway? But that game is a 3D adventure, like a open world game, and so it has a similar. In some sense, it's trying to be Mario. It has like platforming aspects to it, but and then the game is quite different than Mario Odyssey, but you're still like moving the stick to watch the character move around, and you want the character sometimes like face a specific direction in order to do a thing, right? That's true about all these 3D games.
Yeah.
And in Mario Odyssey, you just push the stick in that direction and it works. Like it does exactly what you want it to do. That is never a hard problem of getting Mario to face a certain direction.
Yeah, he pivots really well. Like he shuffles his feet slightly and he's like there.
Yeah.
Like instantly.
And it looks good. Like the animation looks good and it feels natural. But in this game, it's like my character is a woman. She's like a tank, and she like turns with like a radius of like a small car, and so like to get her to turn directions, you have to like do like a 3-point turn to get her to like to go face the direction you want, and it is very frustrating to see like to play it because I've played this thing which is better.
And that kind of is true of like anytime Mario swims in a lot of the Mario games where it should be harder to turn around while swimming. So like it makes sense. But I remember like Mario 64 and even Super Mario Galaxy, I thought the swim mechanics were frustrating at times. You have to like be swimming and then aim perfectly to get an item, and then if you miss it, it's impossible to turn around. And even in that regard, Mario Odyssey is just much better in the swimming mechanics too. Like everything is just like I can't believe how, just how good the controlling of the character is.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So it's not, but so the mechanics are great. The levels are really fun. The levels are well designed. Like the objectives you're shooting for are really fun. The moons are just a delight to find and to collect. And they do such a good job of like, of sort of, maybe let's say like telegraphing, or like, what's the word? Like of where the moon is going to be, like even the ones that are hidden. Yeah. Where it's like, oh, like over there's a moon. You can like maybe see it in the distance. You're like, I bet I can get over there somehow.
Yeah, they have like,
and then the moon getting over there is like a fun puzzle.
Yeah,
exactly. And then, or there's like a little divot in the floor and you're like, oh, I wonder if there's something underneath there. And then you're like, you do the butt bomb thing and poof, a moon comes out and you're like, yes, it feels so good.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is, there's like all this kind of fat trimming that they did, like in Mario 64 and Mario Galaxy as well, when you get a star, the game is interrupted and you get spit out of the painting or go back to the ship, and then you have to walk through the ship to get to the thing you want. And like in Mario Odyssey, they knew like exactly the places to get rid of that. Like you can skip cutscenes a lot of the time. There's like just these little things, like you can skip text quicker if you don't want to listen to it. And you can warp to different parts of just the same contained world once you've been there before. And at first I was like, oh, I'm not going to warp. I'll walk over there. But once you're trying to get your, 800th moon, like it's just, you're just like, okay, come on, let's go. And, but the thing is, when you get a moon, it gives you a little fanfare and say you got a moon, and then you just keep playing. Yeah, and you just keep playing. You just keep going. And so like that, just these little things that you think are kind of trivial, actually, the way they combine to to make the games more enjoyable. Like they actually have a big effect on how enjoyable the game is.
Yeah, I agree.
And then I actually love just like the variety of ways to play. There's like the game is full of it's like a big playground full of little mini games and like games within games, and there's levels, and there's also it also feels like a giant Easter egg hunt, and certain moons are just incredibly easy to get. They're like it's like a game made for toddlers where you just go around a corner and like, oh, there's one, and you grab it.
Yeah, got it. Done.
Or just like, oh, you just gotta find a musician and you talk to the musician and then you get a moon. And when I first started playing, I was like,
you get a moon.
Yeah.
You get a moon.
When I first started playing, I was like, well, this is a little too easy. I wish there's but later on I realized how much I appreciated that, because I never got to the point where I was like, oh, this is too hard. The game's gotten too hard. Like, it actually helps you stay encouraged to keep playing it, because you know that, okay, this moon might be hard to get, but I can always skip it, and there could be 5 other moons that are really easy to get, and it's just like it actually keeps you playing. A lot better.
I think that also trains you to be like to be able to accomplish the more difficult moons. Like after you go to the darker side, whatever, and you get the crazy silver blocks that expose like the more difficult moons, like those are so much harder in general to get than the ones up to that point. And I found them to be, but I found that like all the game had done a good job of training me by that point to actually be able to get them.
Yeah. And the post credits game was the first time I ever experienced even like a moment of frustration in the game. And I didn't just do the bare minimum of the moons. I got like some of the, ones I got like 50 moons or something before I even moved on. And there was like challenging stuff, but like even failing is fun in the game a lot of the time, it's just like, it's amazing how big the game is, how many different things there are to do, and how successful they are at like, the other thing is the different players like different things, and just the sheer number of people that they have pleased with the game is amazing too. So it's just like, the whole thing is just this amazing feat. Do any moons stand out in your head as like something that was like particularly amazing that you were like, oh yeah, I love that one? I don't know. You must have one in mind. Yeah,
I do. So for me, the one that made me realize that this game was not like the other ones was the time when you became the T-Rex in order to go destroy the whatever's in the second world, in the prehistoric kingdom, whatever it was called. And it was that I was like, like the game clearly indicated that was the right thing to do. There were like arrows that were pointing at the T-Rex. It was like very obvious, and like, become the T-Rex, and I was like, what? And then I did it, and I was like, this is the best game.
Yeah.
That was the moment that convinced me. I was like, this game is incredible.
Yeah. I will say that I didn't quite get into it that much in the first Kingdom. Like, the weird thing is that it's not like the game is an acquired taste where it takes a long time of playing before you really get into it. Like, it's fun right from the beginning. But for a while, the game was just fun, but not like, this is going to be one of my favorite games of all time. It's built up towards that. Like, in the second half of the game, it started to get amazing for me. Like, Galaxy, I love that game so much. It's my other favorite. Like, I don't even know if I can choose between them, but I probably would give Odyssey the edge. But like, Galaxy
How can you choose between your children?
Exactly. It's ask Meryl Streep. No.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know, whatever. What was that joke? I think it was Ricky Gervais at that roast or something where he's talking. I don't know. Somebody was saying something about a sequel to Sophie's Choice. I don't know if this was a serious thing that somebody was thinking about doing. And he's like, I mean, how does that work? and then he's like, well, it's got to be the other one, I guess. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh, so Galaxy is like, there was an immediate, like, that game blew me away from the very beginning. Like, the crazy stuff with the gravity and walking around these planetoids and all the gameplay was so inventive and clever that I was like, oh my God, it was like exhilarating from the start.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
then
and the music was so good.
And the music was so good.
Like the first level pulls you right in. Like,
right.
Immediately.
And the first couple levels do that. And then it kind of, there's a lull, and then it there are some lulls in the game, but I feel like Galaxy is kind of a more concentrated. In some ways, it's more impressive in terms of like it's like clever level design. Like, oh my God, this is so surprising and weird and new, and I've never seen anything like this before. It was like cram-packed full of those moments. Whereas Odyssey has those a bit more spread out. It still has those kinds of moments, but Odyssey has the sheer number of things to do. Like I said, that like. It like slowly built for me of being like more and more impressed. Like, I mean, really some of my favorite moons, I think, are like towards the end, spoiler alert, I guess, where where Bowser shows up. Bowser shows up on a fucking dragon. And then you have to, and then he banishes you down. He crashes your ship, and then you have to fight this enormous dragon. I was like, oh my God, like that. And then in the what you think is the last kingdom,
and it's really an enormous dragon. Like it's huge. It's so much bigger than you think it should be. It's like Godzilla sized. Yeah.
Yes. And then you're in Bowser's kingdom, and you're like, you think you're gonna fight Bowser, but then he escapes. He's like, no, my wedding's going to be on the moon. And you're like, of course, because you're collecting moons. It's a moon theme, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, and probably my favorite boss fight in the game is the Robo Brood, where you fight all the Broodals in the giant mech thing. I was like, and it was such a cool, weird boss fight where you had to use these really interesting, bizarre game mechanic techniques that they've taught you to fight this like multi-step boss. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know. I definitely thought maybe some of the bosses were like my favorite moons to get, I guess.
Yes, I like them too. I thought Bowser's whole world kingdom was sort of like, was really good. I thought that one was like, everything about it was really clever and interesting and innovative. Like, especially like the choice of the instruments for the sound, like for the weird thing, like using these very authentic old Japanese instruments.
Yeah, and it was
really
interesting.
Great. And then the whole theme of like Bowser as like the shogun of this, of this fort or whatever was so wonderful.
Yeah, it was like this samurai theme, like ancient Japan, which they'd never done before. It was kind of, Bowser was always in kind of just like a more, I guess, medieval castle or something, a Western environment. But
my favorite world by far was the city.
Yeah,
was the Metro Kingdom or whatever. New Donk City.
And that was I think the point for me where the game just started becoming really exhilarating and incredible. And but then it sustained after that. Like, the Seaside Kingdom, something about like the really calm music they had and like the sunset. I forgot to put my phone.
Oh, hello.
On. Yeah, well.
No, that's all right. No, it's fine. Let's answer it let's answer it live.
No, it's done. I forgot to put it. I forgot to put it on. Last time I put it on. Do not disturb or something.
Do not edit that out even a little bit. It must remain. This I better be hearing this in the final version. Me saying this.
My God. You just,
Anyway, you were saying you like the Seaside Kingdom because
I found myself lingering and just like getting like 50 or 60 moons just because I just enjoyed swimming around and trying to find, like, it was like, and then after that, the Luncheon Kingdom was just really fun and crazy. I read a reviewer who said, like mentioned the Luncheon Kingdom, and they said, which was clearly meant to be a fire kingdom before Nintendo decided that wasn't weird enough. I'm like, my God, you're right. You know, there's a volcano and like, well, no, let's not make it lava. Let's make it pink soup. I'm like, what? But it burns you. It burns you like lava. And there's rolling hot tomatoes that scald you and turn into tomato sauce and scald you. Like
they do. Tomatoes do scald you in real life. It's totally accurate.
It's
you
an
heat them up. I don't know what it is. You put it in the microwave or you're heating in a pot or something, and you're like, this isn't quite cooked enough. Maybe I'll heat it up a little bit more, and you do it a little bit more, and then suddenly you take it out and you're like, oh, this is great. You take a bite and you're like, this is delicious. It's just the right temperature. Then you encounter the tomato and your mouth is like, why? Why did you do this?
It's an educational game.
Yeah.
But you can't get a teacher's discount, which is pretty annoying.
Yeah.
I actually, the game for me culminated in an experience that I'd never had in a video game before. Like I've had like really amazing like experiences where you get to the end of a game and you're just like, oh my God, you're fighting the really intense boss, and then there's like a fake out ending or something, and there's like some sort of really big twist that you just are blown away and you're like, that was amazing. But this was the first game that I was in tears by the end of this game, which is embarrassing, but I don't know. It's not like the game, has some sort of like hugely impactful like storyline that it's just melodrama.
Wait.
Save the princess.
Let's make sure this is clear.
Yeah,
this is not the first embarrassing thing you've done, and it will not be the last.
Well, I didn't say it was the first embarrassing thing I've done. I said it was the first time I've cried from a video game. I'm
just setting the listeners' expectations here.
Yeah.
As you were saying,
I was, and I don't know what the ending after you defeat Bowser. There's like this crazy thing that happens, and then you're just there's kind of an escape. You fight the boss, and there's like an escape from the place where you fight, which is typical, right? You got to get out before the whole place crumbles, and they just made this weird decision. Which another thing is like there's a couple of songs in the game, like with lyrics, with singing, which is like really weird for a Mario game, but yet it's like perfect in the way, like it's perfectly zany, and like if you're allowed to be weird and unexpected in one video game franchise, it's Mario, and at the end of the game, like there's like this exciting, like epic music when you're trying to escape. And then the last part of the escape, they start playing this like pop punk rock song that's really good. But it's very strange that like they're playing this while you're escaping the thing. And I just started, like, the song was so good, and I just started like getting like tears streaming down my face from the sheer like, not because I like really, cared about the like was really moved by the story or something like that, or it was just the game had been so amazingly joyful to play. Like it wasn't just fun. The game actually succeeds in moving beyond fun into joy. Like I would actually use the word joy to describe, like playing this game, and I just started tears streaming down my face because I was like, this has been such like an amazing experience playing this game.
I'm glad.
Yeah. And I guess one more specific thing I want to say, going back to what you said about like the game mechanics and the fun aspect of just controlling the character himself. What's even more impressive about this game is that because of the hat mechanics, you toss your hat and you become other characters. You become the villains in the game, which is, for one thing, what a great gift for gamers, because a lot of times you play video games and you're like, God, this enemy is such an asshole because he gets to fire rockets or something, and I don't get to fire rockets, and it's not fair.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, just become that character. You can become them and play as them, and then you have their power.
Now I am rocket firing man.
So like, it's so that's really great. But what's amazing is that like repeatedly throughout the game. I don't know how many times this happens, like dozens of times. You throw your hat onto a new kind of enemy that you've never become before, and you get to play as them. And the game mechanics change completely. It's like you're playing a whole new game, and every single time it's just as like amazing of a control experience. Like most games, it's impressive if you can even manage that once for the main protagonist that you're controlling, and you only have to do it once. It's like as long as we get this character fun to play, and then the rest of the game is just level design and stuff. But in this game, it's like no, we have to like 50 times we have to make a playable character and make it really fun and like surprising and exhilarating to play as that character, and they manage it every single time. And that's like probably one of the most impressive things to me about the game. Yeah. All
right. Well, I feel like we've enumerated the things.
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. We can take that out of the Mad Hat.
Yeah, it's out. It's out of the Mad Hat. Here it is.
Okay, great.
Here's the camera.
Oh, good. Yeah. Oh, don't tell the people then they're going to want to see our faces, and that's a mistake.
What? No. Nobody can see us. We have. I was gonna say you and I both have hair for radio right now, which is, I guess, better than a face for. I think I have a face for radio, maybe, but
I don't know.
But that's a common joke. But we have hair right now for radio. I haven't gotten a haircut. Well, I'm very lazy about getting haircuts. In
general,
yeah. I mean, your hair right now
is long.
Like
it's like 2.5 years long. 3 years long.
It's like yeah. I don't know whether to book you an appointment, at Supercuts or to nail you to a cross.
Yeah, it's very long. There's like this. There's this. I've
offended some people. I've offended some people.
I promised my wife that I would get it cut before I turned 40, which I'm not yet 40. And
you've got 3 years. No,
I know.
Yeah.
Yes, a little less. And anyway, and she and because this is my midlife crisis, growing it out, because my hair is receding. So rather than accept the fact that it's receding, I'm just letting it grow out. This is my midlife crisis. Let me have this.
Well, I'm enjoying it while it lasts.
Thank you. I am too. It's really fun. I've learned a lot of things.
And
maybe we should put that into the Matt Hat.
Once
things Matt has learned about hair.
I will.
Okay.
We should wrap this up. You've got another meeting, don't you, Matt?
I do in my busy work life. So why don't you play some kind of song for us?
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Come back and listen to us whenever our next episode is. God knows.
That's right.
I will leave you with a nice tune here by Juergentlich McGroovenfleven with his hit single "Gotta Get Up" to finish dusting the shelves in the guest bedroom.